Okay, so I figured I'd have at least a few firearms videos, even though I didn't necessarily want to do this, but it's just freaking cool and I have to show this. So, when you notice the cabin in the background, have the good old M1 Garand. A lot of collectors and World War II enthusiasts and firearms enthusiasts have a Garand. But underneath that, I have this double barrel shotgun, which is, by the way, the barrel is 18 inches of length. It's not illegal. I can get the tape measure out if you want, just in case the ATF is watching this. Anyhow, this is something I didn't buy. I just made. I went to a gun shop in eastern Pennsylvania, and they literally just had these old double barrel relic shotguns in just a bargain bin, and they were like anywhere between 100 and 150 bucks each. And I bought this one for 125 bucks, and I picked it out, and I saw that it was made in Germany, and the thing had incredible tolerances on it. It was a little rusted out and whatnot, but it was solid. I just picked it up right away. So anyhow, this is it right here, and just opens up break action, like any other double barrel shotgun. When you pop it open, it's kind of cool because the shells just come popping out and whatnot. And it's got the dual triggers, safety up top. Yes, I dry fired it, so sue me. But really cool piece from Germany. It's got all this ornate stuff on it. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take it apart and kind of show you what was going through my head and what I had to do while restoring this. So, all right. So, here is the shotgun taken apart. And a lot of people don't know that these things are taken apart. They have the ability to be taken apart. You could strip them down and then put them back together. So, most times these shotguns are used for hunting. The barrel's much longer, and they usually come in these ornate cases that are a hell of a lot bigger, especially when you have an actual stock and a much longer barrel. I bought this out of a bargain bin, so of course I didn't get all that nice fancy stuff, but that's okay because I still think this speaks for itself. So anyhow, all the wood, when I received this first, all the wood was, the stain was fading. There was no varnish. It was in kind of crappy shape. The barrel was all rusty. This was rusty, and internals were kind of rusted up and tarnished. But after oiling it up a little bit, it worked. So I knew it was fully functional, but it just looked like crap, and I kind of wanted to make something different. I could have just completely polished it up and just restored it just like that, but for you video game nerds out there, there is a signature weapon by the main character in a video game called Doom. Everybody's heard of it. Particularly the remake of Doom that came out, Doom 2016, and then I think recently there's Doom Eternal and all this stuff. But anyhow, one of the main signature weapons was a double barrel shotgun, and it was sawed off, and I just always thought it looked really cool. So when I got this, I figured, well, I got it for a bargain. If I hack it up and mess it up, who cares? But I didn't hack this one up. I made sure that I polished it up right, and I kept the functionality. I didn't just make something that looked cool and didn't work. I actually took this to the range recently, and it fired perfectly. I fired about 25 rounds before I thought my wrist was going to break, because this is a 12 gauge. But it fired flawlessly, and it was really cool. Every time you break open the shotgun and reload 2 shells, the other spent shells, they come flying right out in dramatic Hollywood fashion. So that's kind of cool, because it has this little spring-loaded extractor thing right here. Anyhow, so this is the shotgun taken apart. This is how you put it back together. You just put this little flipper switch right here. Oh, there we go. I'm trying to angle it so the camera could see. It's not an easy thing. There we go. So we have this, and then all you do right here is you put this little spring clasp right here, You gotta do it just right, because once again, these things were made in Germany. Well, this particular one was made in Germany, and the tolerances are tighter than your sister. Anyhow, put it right here, and then there you go. Fully assembled. Pretty cool, huh? And then to take it apart, it's just a reverse. Pull this lever, and then there you go again. Hopefully everybody can see this. So, real quick tutorial on how the hell I did this. For the wood, it was tricky, because what I wanted to do is, once again, because I kind of patterned this off the double barrel shotgun in Doom, I wanted to kind of add a religious element. But I didn't have an engraving pen, and I didn't want to mess up the really cool stuff already in here by, you know, adding a bunch of, you know, religious symbols or something. You know, I'm not that good at freehand stuff. But what I did do is I wanted to make the wood durable, and I wanted to add a little luster to it. So what I did was I had to be tricky about it, because you see this right here. This is called checkering. You don't want to sand a stock down to the, you know, down to the bare wood, because you're going to mess this beautiful checkering up. And this is very, very difficult to do by hand. And most of the time it is done by hand, and I don't have the correct tools for checkering, nor do I have the years and years and years of skill that it takes to do this. So I had to be careful. What I had to do is I had to first strip this down chemically, and then what I had to do is sand and smooth out the rest of the edges, especially after I cut off the stock. So then once I was able to smooth everything out and strip everything down, the checkering remained, and all I had to do was stain it and then put a bunch of coats of urethane on it to give it like that durable, shiny look. Also, I embedded this Knights Templar emblem that actually I ordered from Amazon, that I just embedded into the stock right here. I think it kind of looks cool. Some people get all up in arms about it. They think it's a racist symbol or whatever. It's not. It's the Order of the Knights Templar. You know, they're associated with the Crusades and all that. If it offends anyone, I'm sorry, but it still looks really freaking cool in a religious themed shotgun, and especially when it's embedded right into the handle, and it actually fits real nice in the palm of your hand. So once I got the wood right, then I figured, well, everything else I'm gonna have to take apart literally piece by piece, and that's what I had to do. And all these screws and everything underneath all this, underneath this plate, are all sorts of screws and pins and levers. Double barrel shotguns are actually a lot more complicated than pump action shotguns. I'd even go so far as to say they're more complicated than the semi-automatic ones, because a lot of times the tolerances are very, very tight, and you have to screw this on and have everything mounted just right. So through a combination of a grinder, a Dremel tool, a polishing wheel, polishing compound, I mean, all sorts of polishing chemicals, even doing some stuff by hand with steel wool, I was able to get this really nice and shiny luster back to pretty much everything there. And I was even able to polish up the plastic ends. There's actually special polishing compound and cloth wheels you could do to polish up the plastic. And it was kind of cool because I was able to even do it with these little brass fittings right here, which is just so, it's sick. And once again, the handle, the handle grip, I had to do the same thing. I was able to polish this up, and then what I did is I restained the wood while keeping the checkering. So it was a combination of sanding some areas and then chemically stripping another, and also just, you know, plain old cleaning it out with a toothbrush to get all the old caked dirt out of this, which I was able to do. So I'll put this right here. But I mean, literally every spring and lever I had to redo. I had to polish up, re-oil, and then even add some grease. If you can see, there's like red grease and stuff that I added. That's high temperature grease, just for firearms. And then finally, the barrel. The barrel was actually in really good shape. The barrel was huge. It was like 30 inches or something like that, and I cut this down to 18. And then what I did is I polished it off with a crown. A lot of times when people do these cut jobs, they're left with all these burrs and all this other crap. I cut it, and then I leveled it off with 100 grit, 200 grit, 400 grit, and then finally 1,000 grit. And I just left it there. And what I did is I leveled it out with a good old-fashioned bubble level, and then I just sat on top of it a palm sander, because I just let gravity do all the work, and it came out really well. And the leveling was pretty good, because when I took it to the range, it wasn't shooting too much to the right or too much to the left because I cut it the wrong way or sanded everything the wrong way. It shot really straight, and I was like 7 yards away. That's pretty good for a sawed-off. And of course, all the ejectors and all this other crazy stuff right here I had to polish up, and I had to make sure it was in correct working order. Let me see if I can pull one of these out. I don't know if I can. Oh, wait a minute. There we go. Yeah, there we go. So here's the ejector that is spring-loaded, and that pops those shotgun shells out as soon as you pop it open to load in the new shells. It's really cool and dramatic when it just pops right up in the sky like that. Some shotguns don't do that. You gotta grab the shells, which is a real pain in the ass. This one, it pops them right up. So anyhow, let me put this back together again, and just gotta make sure I get the lever correct. Hands are a little greasy right now because I hammered this. There we go. It pops back into place. And then right here, it's amazing how tight the tolerances are. I just want you to see how tight the tolerances are to this. I mean, right then and there is where it separates between the handle and the trigger mechanism and the barrel and stuff. It's just really, really a well-made shotgun. But I made it my own. I made it a fanboy slash Doom video game nerd boys shotgun, and then I added the little thing there for if I want to put I just put like a shoulder strap on it or whatever. But I take it to the range every now and then, and it works just like a charm. So let me just get the proper view. So hope you all enjoyed that. There was a lot of hours went into this. Probably a total of probably 2 months worth of labor put into this, but I think it's really cool, especially this part. And it feels really nice in my hand. So I just hope you all enjoyed that. Next video is going to be back on the whole element of survival. Video is going to be about fear. I think that's very important, especially nowadays. If your mind's filled with fear, you're never going to make it. So I'll have probably something up on this very soon.